Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood. And welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood. You're waking up and starting your day with your best pals, me, Dirk Wiley, and my lovely colleagues, Penelope MacGuffin.
Hello.
And Bench PerDiem.
How's it going?
How we doing this morning?
Very, very good.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Well, I got news for you. Today's about to get even better.
Oh,
Because
here we
next
go.
week kicks off Salt Fest.
Salt Fest!
Oh my goodness.
One of Driftwood's favorite festivals. We do love a festival here in the Driftwood Isles. And Salt Fest takes place all across the north. Up in your neck of the woods.
It is really my neck of the
Penelope.
woods. I have such fond memories of being a little kid running about up in the north. And,
Yeah. I was going to ask you, we encourage our residents from all over the Isles to come take a road trip all over North Driftwood and get your fill of salt-dried fish, salt beef, saltwater taffy, the desserts as well, salted caramel, salted chocolate, the many varieties of salt, flaky salt, rock salt, special rainbow salt.
Ooh.
Just so many delicious salty treats to enjoy. And it must have been fantastic growing up right in the middle of Salt Fest. Penelope, did your hometown have a particular salty item that they specialized in?
we actually, not to brag, not
You
to
can
brag,
brag.
but we were, so we call him Salty Steve. He's one of the more interesting characters from the village, but every single year he would win, hands down, the Guess the Salt competition. So every year, we know it well, they do the blind taste test of the different types of salt, and he would stick his pinky finger in, lick the salt off his
Did
pinky
it with
finger.
the pinky.
Yeah,
That's
a little
got some
pinky.
swagger there
Now,
if you're using the pinky.
Because some other competitors say that's contaminating the flavor, like where's your hand been? But Salty Steve, he knew what he was doing, and he would dip it in, tap his tongue, and then he would go sea salt. And it was always right. He knew exactly where that salt came from.
I wonder if his pinky helped him somehow, because usually you have to use a salt stick,
Yes.
which is,
yes. Well, that's the
a
hygienic
stick
way
from
of
the
doing
sea,
it. But
which they dry out. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our ancestors,
They didn't have no salt sticks.
no,
a good
not so
point.
much salt sticks. That feels like a very modern thing for us. And it's,
So it's sort of the classic way that the Northern used to taste their salt.
yes, yeah. And obviously, like the whole family would be there. Every single one of the whole MacGuffin clan would be there.
Did you
No.
have a particular type of salt that you prefer?
Like, I don't want to get controversial, okay?
Ooh,
But
got a hot take from Penny here.
kind of into that Himalayan salt recently.
Himalayan.
Himalayan's pretty good.
Ooh.
I don't want to be
I think it's a fairly
too controversial, but I have
popular
cousins. Some parts of the MacGuffin family are not into it. Okay, they're obviously like we've discussed this before. I have a lot of family.
Yeah.
I am one of 6 children, and then that was part of even bigger lineage. So I haven't even counted how many cousins I have. Cousins, second cousins twice removed. There's just so many, and every single part of the MacGuffin family has its own decisions to make, and sometimes those decisions are, I'm going to say, a little bit crazy. Okay,
Got a wacky clan up there.
Look, I love a sea salt as much as the next person, like a good chunky sea salt, sprinkled onto a cookie, like a dark chocolate cookie. Mwah. Chef's kiss. But some of my family have really weird takes on salt.
Get wacky with the salt. What do they do with it up there in the north?
One of my cousins is actually, this is crazy. So
Spill it.
You say it.
They've cut salt out of their diet.
What?
How do you even
Hot salt
taste
out.
food?
I don't understand. Like
Salt gets the taste out of the food.
Yeah.
It's hidden in there.
Is that Martin?
It's Martin.
Oh.
Martin's gang. Yeah. So they're like cousin twice removed.
Yeah.
On my father's side, like removing salt.
What kind of guy is
crazy.
this? What's the rest of his life like if he doesn't even,
Yeah,
he's
what's
not
his
even
deal?
gonna get into salt?
You know,
if salt is too much for the lad.
He's just a regular, normal, just regular guy. He has had the same job for 25 years now. He in the office every day, 9 to 5:30.
What job is it?
Oh, he works in admin. I believe
For any particular organization,
It's actually
or just
for-
generally?
Well, it's for the local library. He's one of the people that he catalogs the books. Part of his remit, I believe, is to take the books and to type them into email for those that are part of the ebook subscription.
Oh, big fan of that. Yeah, that's how I know Martin.
Yeah. So
You get those emails, Bench? That's how you get your
Oh
books?
yeah, big. I'm on their Patreon as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Our public library has a Patreon.
Yeah. So
They got to make money somehow.
They're not getting funded by
Public
our-
infrastructure is
It's bad.
rough.
I know this was a very northern thing, but you'd get, you'd go out to play and it maybe be like a hot day and your parents would be like, don't forget the salt stick. And you would get your little stick out the cupboard of just the salt that had all been mushed together as one little stick. And you just lick it. Just lick it as you were playing outside.
It's like rock candy, except it's just pure salt.
Oh, it's delicious.
Now, I want to ask, just because you did bring up your parents, and maybe we didn't want to. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But your parents were both the pairs champion in the competitive salt eating competition here on the island for years, counting this point, right?
I mean, both retired now. They stopped
They're
competing.
done.
You can tell they've ingested way too much. So they just shriveled up.
Yeah.
Tiny people.
They are so little now. I remember when both of them used to be 6 foot tall, and now you're
Really?
lucky if my mom's 5 foot
Because
5.
they both look like just a
Yeah.
pair of raisins.
It's crazy. You should see the cutout on their door within their house of the sizes
the
that they
door.
used to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So as we know, all old residents of the Driftwood Isles, they have their bodies in the door cutouts.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how they
Their
keep track
vitals.
of their measurements.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's crazy to see how she just walks through and is nowhere near where that door cutout
Is
used to
it
be.
squiggly? Because she's very, she's shriveled up, so it's not a solid curvature. There's a lot of like edges and jagged, like a raisin.
yeah.
You picture a raisin. There's a lot of crevices, for lack of a better
And hey,
term.
look, everyone that is
Your mother has a
sports person-
lot of crevices, is what I'm saying, in her skin, and I want to know if her architecture of her house accounts for the crevices.
No, I'll be honest. That the architecture
I'm
was.
sorry if this is too personal.
No. I think this is a fascinating line of fascinating topic to go down. She had the cutout done obviously when she was a little bit younger, so it doesn't really have the crevices as such. But one thing I would say is every successful athlete, they put their bodies through so much, and then one day they retire and they just have to kind of deal with the fact their bodies have fundamentally systematically changed because of what the training they've gone through, the competitions they've gone through. It's just.
Is there any particular training that she would do, or is it just eating salt?
Well, obviously
What would
there
you
was
see as in the home of, as you described it, an athlete?
Yes.
I don't know if I would go so far, but
Oh, I mean, hey, you
what
take
you put your
them
body
on.
through, I guess, is
Obviously,
different types of endurance and
there are
athletics.
different levels of the competition as well. Like we are saying competitive salt eating, which I think a lot of people who don't know enough about it would think, oh, it's just eating a lot of salt quickly. But no,
That's what I always figured.
Oh,
would have
no.
assumed.
That's just one element of it. There's actually the preparation.
How many
stage.
elements would you say?
Oh goodness. So they're modern competition. It's 8 now.
Okay,
8 elements.
let's walk through.
Yeah, let's name
each
every single
of
one of
those
them.
8.
So obviously there's the preparation stage,
preparation is
which
number one.
is not so much a physical thing, but you are supposed to put the salt into a decorative form on the plate. May I say, oh God, I feel so proud for it. The time she did a recreation of Guernica, but on the plate was stunning. Like,
A recreation of what?
Guernica,
Guernica.
That
Yeah.
is.
We all know that.
the painting.
Yeah, the painting. We all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
I'm very well versed in paintings.
Yeah. No,
For sure.
I
I know paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Guernica.
Yes. And then the
Beautiful.
time that she, oh God, there's
I
just
just
so
see
many.
you looking back in your mind at all these wonderful memories.
Yeah. I trying
You went
to.
into your mind palace there
I
for a
really
second.
got lost for a second there. It was just
Your mind museum, more
salt
like.
sticks. So there's that. There is the physical challenge, which is where
Number 2.
you have to run while eating the salt and run between the salt
Run
stations.
while eating the salt
Yeah,
and
yeah.
between the different stations.
Yeah, well, obviously, like this competition was, I mean, like most sporting competitions, there were real world purposes for this, and it was useful to find out why. You know, it was useful to find out who in the village was the best at something.
Yeah, there was an
You know?
evolutionary explanation to all of this.
Yeah, like I mean, shot put. You want to know which guy or girl can really just launch something from almost a standing position, because we had to get bags of hay from one side of a farm to the other.
And someone had to do it.
Someone had to do it.
Yeah.
So
and of course, we have our pirate history.
Yes.
Sometimes a cannonball would need to be on a ship that was a little further away, a different ship if you're in, an armada.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to throw the cannonball to that other ship. That's how we got so
Yeah.
good at the shot put.
that's it. And not every ship had enough money to afford the cannons.
That's true.
And some of them, if they could afford the cannons, that gunpowder, oh boy. Yeah.
But
So
we
some of those
we could afford the balls. We had a big, the ball factory. Of
We had a
course.
surplus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in the north, it was very, very important to know who were the best at salt consumption, because if anyone important was going to eat a meal, you wanted them to almost like taste test the meal.
They're like the royal tasting for the.
That's actually, I
Poison.
honestly assumed you both would know this, but I forget that
This
it's
is
just like
part
a
of
very
the rich
northern
northern
thing
history.
to know. Yeah.
No,
It's
we're
just-
all Southern boys, or
Western.
You're Western.
I'm westerly.
I'm from the East Coast.
Yeah, very central. If you
Yes,
think
it's
about
all
it.
the South when you live in the North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything below. Oof.
Okay, so we have preparation and then physical.
That's 2. We
That's
have
2.
6 more.
Preparation
Yeah.
physical. You
Just rattle
have
through them.
formats, which is
Formats.
which is various different types of salt.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Get your tables. Get your koshers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what
yeah.
is the task or the challenge with regards
That's
to?
just a straight up inhale one again.
So you have to be able to inhale multiple types of salt.
Yeah. Then you have your
Wow, that must wreak havoc on your airways.
well, not as much as the next one, which is the underwater salt.
Underwater salt.
Yeah, so
which
you-
is different than just the salinity in the ocean.
Well, this would be like they try and like fence off a little bit of the ocean in the olden days. Nowadays, you'll get an above ground pool, obviously,
Sure.
and you'll put some salt into it, and then the challenge is to get the most salt out of the water, and
And into
into your
your
body.
body.
Yeah, and then they measure how much salt's left in the water.
wow.
They work out through science.
Right, it's like an apple bombing, but for salt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So you're taking in presumably a lot of water as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
Ooh.
crazy how much these athletes put their bodies through
Okay.
just to, I mean, obviously in the olden days, it was
just
very
to, I really
important.
want to hear the end of that sentence.
Just to make their families proud, to get a little bit of civic
And did you
pride.
feel that
to
pride
make oh my
as the
goodness,
daughter?
yes. It's crazy to think, my family will be remembered forever as just champions, just absolute champions.
The MacGuffin name on the Driftwood Isles is really synonymous with salt at this point, I would say.
Yeah. There was stage 6 was the farming stage, which took place, to be fair, over a longer period of time.
Yeah. That is
where-
prejudged. Usually you already have kind of like the results going on.
Yeah. So that was like a longer period of time. But on stage 6, you'd show them the salt flats that you'd come up with.
And 7, of course, is the blank round memorializing those past saltiers who couldn't make it to this day. It's a little in memoriam
Sort of
stage of the
somber
competition.
moment of
Yeah.
reflection.
Yeah.
I'm starting to remember a little bit more. I watched a lot of
you've
these.
been?
Yeah.
I watched this on the telly as a kid. So like I haven't
It's
been
televised.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
Absolutely.
know
heavily
this.
televised.
Yeah.
And you said the MacGuffin name is synonymous. I'm sorry. I had unfamiliar in your storied past.
Oh, fantastic. And then obviously,
Happy to learn it.
Gosh, I mean, it's difficult to pick a favorite round. It's really difficult to pick a favorite round. But the salt in the wound round, where you'd have to give yourself a paper cut and then stick your hand in the salt and then see how long you lasted.
This one
that's
was
the 8th and
literally
final
just
round.
That's
is that
it.
pain
right?
tolerance. Wow.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah, yeah.
dramatic finale that would
Because-
be.
I mean, it really
Would this happen in a group? Just a bunch of bleeding people
Yeah.
crying out with their hands in salt?
hand in some salt, and then once you gave up, you would back away. It was actually a bit of a physical, mental challenge because you didn't know when anyone else was going to give up, and you didn't know how many hours you would be there. The longest once was 11 days. My dad actually
be
missed
separate.
my birthday party.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's totally fine because, I mean, what does it matter when you're doing something that special? You know? Like, a birthday party is not important when the whole of the community is cheering someone on.
Wow.
And then obviously at the end, we burn the wicker man filled with salt.
Burn of salt effigy.
Yeah, some people call it a salt pig burning. But I would say it's like a wicker man just for you two so that you can fully get your head into
Okay.
like what it is.
It does smell wonderful.
What does it look like?
It's basically like a wooden,
Does
a
salt
wicker.
burn as well?
Salt burn?
Does salt, can you burn salt?
It kind of can
Does salt burn?
Yeah.
melts, congeally, kind of becomes a liquid.
Emulsifies.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the wicker sculpture itself is like basically a traditional looking salt pig, sort of a jar with a hole in the side.
Okay.
Now, rumor has it that the oldest person in the village in the olden times would be placed in there, and that would also be the way that they would go. A sacrifice to the salt gods, one would say.
This was like a salt ceremony, seemed like a Viking funeral of sorts, but the North Driftwood version of that.
Yeah, but obviously nowadays, just salt.
And
It's just salt.
traditional northern burials are kind of a curing situation, right? Where you're just buried in a heap of salt, and the bodies are preserved wonderfully. And the Driftwood Museum has a bunch of really. It's a different process than mummifying. Again, curing is really the best best way to describe it. But
Yeah, and absolutely.
What happens? What do they do with them after they're cured? The
I
bodies.
think there's isn't there a spice rub after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are stages.
All right, I have so much to learn about the
You know,
North. What a
we
wonderful
should go
culture.
to the museum.
I'd love to,
One day we'll all go to the museum.
especially with you,
go to the
Penelope, to
museum.
walk us
Yeah.
through this.
Yeah.
Because you should see, there are some beautiful pictures of my parents in that museum.
Really,
Well,
Really nice.
I'm
will
curious
say-
to see what they looked like before the salt took them.
I will say I have heard a funny little thing about the Driftwood Museum, but I'm not sure we have time to get into all of that just now.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
This might
Should
take
we-
us a minute. A little tease,
All
as
right,
we say.
something for after the break. We'll see you on the other side. And welcome back. Now, Bench, you teed us up with a bit of a teaser there before the break.
That is true. We were talking before about the Driftwood Museum.
Oh, I can
Guys,
hear all
it's
of that.
so early.
They're all excited.
I had a long night, guys. It's fine.
Hey,
We were talking about the Driftwood Museum before, and I have heard word around town is that a priceless painting valued at $3 million has been stolen from the Driftwood Museum again.
my
Again.
goodness.
Now, this time, though, billionaire philanthropist Pierce Throne has publicly pledged his support for the New Derrick Police Department in their investigation of this series of art thievery in a move that many are calling innocent looking as well as good and normal. That's the brief that I got here. Don't know why those weren't capitalized, but yeah, what do you guys think? That's a interesting move. I don't know what he has to do with any of that series of...
It sounds suspicious, just the specificity of those word choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, as we discuss him, obviously, like billionaire philanthropist. I almost got a little bit struggle to get my words out there as well.
I think this has rattled us
Pierce
all.
Throne?
Yeah. I personally like to not pick fights with billionaires.
Oh, we love billionaires.
We support billionaires. They have real good access to lots of legal support, and I just don't like to pick fights with them.
They set an example, and we abide by that
Yes.
example, lest the consequences rain down upon us.
That is
Yes.
true. And look, if they are choosing to put their funds and power behind the New Derrick Police Department, you know, the NDPD can use all the help it can get these days.
Are they the best department to fund, though, knowing their history?
Oh, of course not. No, they have a bad history of just funds mismanagement.
So you've lived in this city your whole life.
Forever. Listen, I don't know why they need to prosecute everyone that jaywalks. I don't get it.
They're sticklers.
You have multiple times we've said to you, stop jaywalking. Just stop.
But like, again, so growing up in the city, we were always told that like lights are kind of like, you know how when the teacher, when you're at school, is like, the bell is for me. So we were like, the lights are for no one. It's the same logic. This transfers a one-to-one.
Is it directly related to the teacher thing?
That's how it's been explained to me.
Like, I can't have the bell, so I will have the lights.
Exactly. Thank you. You get it. You get it, Dirk.
If someone takes something from you or won't let you have something,
exactly,
you will then take it upon yourself to take ownership over something else.
Exactly. So there's a balance of power, just like, again, billionaires funding police departments is normal. Again, says good and normal, which is interesting. But yeah, okay. We don't have to talk about Pierce necessarily, but who do you guys think did it?
Behind the art thieves?
Yeah.
Behind the thefts?
I believe all of them are leaving behind just a Jack of Spades card was also...
Jack of Spades.
Jack of Spades, just indicating that it's the same thief.
Or someone who's making it sound like it's just the same thief.
Oh, and are you saying that there's might be a mimic?
Copycat? Maybe, yeah.
There is Jack Spade, who... he used to be the starting point guard for the New Derrick basketball team, but he disappeared about 12 years ago.
Yeah, gosh, I forgot all about him. It was really strange the way he just...
It was right after they won the city title as well.
And everyone kept coming up to the team and asking like, hey, why is that person now gone from your roster? And they were like, why are you asking about it? Stop being weird.
They got real cagey, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't give any answers.
And he was the star. He was the face of the team.
He was.
And you'd think even if you didn't want to tell the truth, because maybe, I don't know, the truth is either awkward or uncomfortable or makes you look bad, you'd think that you would just say something like, everything's fine, they've taken a break.
You might say it was quote unquote good and normal.
Yes.
And innocent as well.
Innocent. Saying something's innocent. The lady doth protest too much. You know what I'm saying? If you're insisting something is innocent, then I wouldn't think that there was anything not innocent going on until they insist that it's innocent.
Yes.
That is, but also again, and we're not trying to blame Mr. Thorne.
All respect to Mr. Thorne.
Oh,
love you, Mr. Thorne.
And also, like, he has so much money. Why would he even need to?
Yeah.
He wouldn't even be a suspect. Like, if he wanted that priceless painting that costs $3 million, he could just pay for it.
When you have a lot of money, you don't need to do bad things. So you're less likely to do bad things because you don't need to.
Exactly.
Personally,
why would you do something bad? You're rich.
If I was a billionaire philanthropist, I don't know why I can't say
such
philanthropist.
An easy word to say. I don't get it.
I don't know why I can't say it today. I think I personally would not steal a painting.
Right?
Me personally would just maybe, I don't know, buy a different painting.
Yeah.
Like a print of the painting at the gift shop.
Sometimes getting prints though is really difficult. I'm not speaking from experience about this at all, but sometimes it can get really genuinely incredibly frustrating.
How so?
Oh, like if they haven't licensed it for prints.
Yeah, and then you have to email some university in The Hague that has it for some reason, and they're like, "Do you guys do prints?" And they're like, "We're elaborating." Okay, maybe this did happen to me. I wanted to get a print.
Is there a particular painting that you wanted a print of?
There is.
In The Hague?
It genuinely, yes. And it was
it's strange to me that you would go to the Court of War Crimes to complain about the gift shop.
What is strange to me is why is the Court of War Crime has the copyright for a Paul Satoran piece? Like why are they owning licenses for art? I don't get that.
Who's Paul Satoran?
I'm probably mispronouncing that name. He's I want to say Dutch, probably Dutch.
That's what The Hague is, right?
The Hague is in Dutch, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Hague is in Dutch?
The Hague is in Dutch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's pretty accurate because I assume it is in the Dutch language, yes.
Yeah. It's Dutch for Hague.
And so you reached out to the Dutch about acquiring this print?
Yes. And they said, we don't have the license for this. It lies with the university. And I reached out to the university and they were like, we don't sell out licenses for this. That's not how this works.
So you just didn't get that.
I didn't get it.
You just didn't get the print.
That's a real thing.
I applaud your go-getter
It's a cool
attitude
piece.
trying to go
Tenacity,
get it.
trying to
What
get it.
was it? What was the piece? What was in it? What did it look
It's
like?
called Metropolis, and it's a collage of photographs that was the inspiration for the movie Metropolis by Fritz Lang in 1927. That's a real fact.
Ah,
Yeah.
you're so cultured, Bench.
Hey, that's my family's been in the art business for a long time just because, like, we're around,
Is
Just
that
'cause
how art
you're
works?
around.
Yeah.
Just because you're around.
Like, oh, I saw that. I was
Yeah.
there.
There's a lot of, like, historical events or, like, big, pieces of, like, theater and culture and visual art that are just familiar to me because, like, oh, yeah, my grandpa was around for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think just being around is probably the... Maybe that's why, other people haven't gotten into art as an industry because they just weren't around
They're
at the
too
time.
young.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
They should
Maybe they were just
consider
busy
that.
that day.
Art's an old person's game.
Or a young person who was born into people who were old and around.
Told them the stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We for sure get art.
Yeah.
I get art.
Yeah, we all get
Yeah,
it.
we're all cultured.
There was that
Yep.
painting you mentioned earlier that we all clearly knew. Yeah.
Yeah. We're all like art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you to Mr. Thorne for
Thank you so
helping
much,
find,
Mr.
and
Thorne.
we hope this piece, I believe it was a Picasso piece, I failed to mention that, is found.
That feels like burying the lead.
I said it
That was
was
a Picasso?
I said it was a priceless piece of art.
Yeah, but not
can't
Picasso.
assume that
Now
was
I start
Picasso.
to think it's a...
It was, of course, famous local artist Geoffrey Picasso.
Yeah, that's such a big deal.
Yeah,
Such a big deal,
no relation.
He was such a sweet guy.
I love them.
Yeah.
I can't believe they'd take Jeff's piece.
Yeah. Big fan of Jeff, honestly. Big
Bench
fan.
is getting real choked up over there. He was personal friends with Jeff.
I just really miss it.
Yeah.
I just really miss it.
It was
I'm
real
sorry.
sad when he fell down that manhole.
Hey, none of us... You never expect the manhole to not be covered. You never
Yeah.
expect.
Yeah, it didn't even have a cover on it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He did have his head in the clouds all the time. That's why he was such a great artist.
Yeah.
And it's why he died in a manhole. Rest in peace, Jeff.
Rest in peace, Jeff. We miss you every day.
Jeffrey Picasso, beautiful soul. Also a beautiful soul, Mr. Thorne. Thank you so much for all you do for all of us. Kind gentleman. All right, we're going to take this to a word from our sponsors. Just might be from Mr. Thorne himself. Who knows? We will see you after the break. And welcome on back. Now we've got something from our friend Penelope over here. I can see you just itching to get a word in. You got some news for us?
It's that time of year. It's
What's that now?
Oh,
the
boy.
annual book burning has begun. Yeah. Oh, it's back. It's back. Citizens of the Driftwood Isles are once again invited to submit the books they think should be taken to the town square and stuck on a giant bonfire.
Light them up.
Obviously, we have international listeners now, and they may not be accustomed to this particular Driftwood custom. This isn't a banning of books. This is more of a democratic process where we pick overrated books we're fed up of, and just as part of really old traditions. It's actually, it's a very northern thing that back in the early days of the Isle, inhabitants used to sacrifice books and scrolls to Fenhuil, one of the old gods. They believed that he was bored a lot of the time, and that's why he was doing bad things to the citizens and the weather. And if they could just distract him, maybe with a book or a scroll or a pamphlet, then he would stop getting up to his mischief. So now we still love the bonfire. We still love getting those books out and getting a big old fire going.
It's really a celebration.
It's a celebration of book
amazing.
and literature, really.
Yeah.
Setting stories up to the heavens.
Yeah. And we modern day inhabitants of the Isle do prefer to throw in books they think are a little bit overrated. The ones from the bookshelf that you're like, I don't think I'll go back to that. School kids really want rid of The Great Gatsby. What can we say?
Boy.
But community organisers expect to see an influx of A Catcher in the Rye being thrown in by people who purchased it, never read it, and are fed up of pretending that they have read it in order to impress others. So yeah, the Catcher in Their Eyes going through. Dirk, you have a book or two that you think this year you're ready to throw in.
The Red Pony. You guys read this nonsense?
Red Pony.
The Red Pony by John Steinbeck.
Straight on
You
the
read
fire.
this? Oh, I can't wait to throw this thing on
Are
the
you
fire.
once again about to put Steinbeck on blast?
Steinbeck, you on blast. The Red Pony? Get out of here with that Red Pony nonsense. Give a kid a pony, the pony gets sick and dies in a really gross way. That's a book? That's a book to you? Then some guy shows up, steals a horse, and disappears. They're presumably dead. That's a book to you? Easter the horse? We're all supposed to resonate with Easter the horse? Get out of here, Steinbeck.
You make good arguments, Dirk. It's hard to argue with that.
That's not a plot. It's just a series of things dying and everyone being sad about it.
Now, if you were to rate Steinbeck's book against, I don't know, one of your other least favorites, maybe, I don't know, Lord
Dr.
of the
Seuss.
Flies.
Oh, God. Lord of the Flies again. Yeah, don't get me started on it. You know what? Get me started on Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies. You on blast. Lord of the Flies, get out of here, Lord of the Flies. What we're just going to do the most heavy-handed symbolism ever? Speak for yourself. We're all children ruled by fear. Get out of here. Speak for yourself.
No, Dirk, I don't mean to set you off, but I did hear that you have like some hot takes, you always say, about a little person known as the Good Doctor, Dr. Seuss. Is that right?
Dr. Seuss, you on blast. Get out of here, Dr. Seuss. You trying to be all whimsical just because you got fancy wordplay? You think I care about green eggs and ham? Get out of here with your green eggs and ham. I know that's not food. Green eggs are bad. That's bad food. You're teaching kids to eat bad food that's rotten and gonna make them sick. You are a health hazard, Dr. Seuss. Get out of here.
Hey,
Up to the sky with you.
up to the sky with you. Fenhuil
Up to
will
the sky with
enjoy
you.
reading them.
Fenhuil with your broke ass.
Yes.
Oh, praise Fenhuil.
Personally, I think it's time for me to send to the sky my book copy of Fight Club, because I'm going to be honest, Fight Club, you on blast. Okay, it's a good book and I enjoyed reading it, but here's the thing, I'm fed up of men when I talk to them about it assuming it was just a film, and then when I say, oh, you know, it was a book and the book was pretty good, they're like, what? And they don't know about it. And then they can't talk to me about it. And then they just look at me like I'm crazy, like I read some sort of novelization of a film. How dare you? How dare you? Get that book out of my house. Get that up to the sky.
They probably feel all emasculated because, like, what? Fight Club? That's my thing because I'm a dude with testosterone
Exactly.
and stuff. You
And
can't know more about Fight Club than me.
No, and do you know what they say to me?
What does they
They try a little joke. They try going, oh, I didn't think we were supposed to talk about Fight Club. Well, you know what?
Ugh. Like, no one ever made that joke before.
Every time, Fight Club, get on the fire, you're going to the sky.
To the sky with you. To Fenhuil with your Fight Club.
Honestly, I love the book burning. Every year,
It's a great time
I
here.
happily skip out with a little pile of books ready to go.
Again, it's not a negative thing. It's because
No.
we love literature so much that we can't abide by when it's done poorly.
True.
But we also want to entertain Fenhuil, and so we will send
Yeah.
those stories to
It's true.
them. It's about recycling. It's about not wasting the
Yeah.
stories, but sending them elsewhere.
I can't imagine anywhere in the world where book burning has a negative connotation. It's
No.
such a wonderful celebration.
It warms you up. The
Yeah.
fire alone is such a warming thing.
It's true.
As you warm the mind of Fenhuil.
Exactly.
Now, this year for the book burning, I'm of course going to be bringing the same book I bring every year, and
it's
it's
a
about to go on blast. We all know that this is Stephen Fry's History of the Visigoths. You're on blast. History of the Visigoths, get out of here. We all know you lost. You lost to the good old Eastern Roman Empire. That's right, the Byzantines are back in business, baby. And we don't need to hear about how you got some of Rome back later on, because no one cares about it, because we all moved on to Constantinople, baby.
Oh, I cannot wait to see you all this weekend around the big fire. Now, I'm saying town square, but as we all know, there's 400 burnings take place.
Yeah.
The biggest one in your neighborhood.
Oh,
Mostly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go into the big the main park,
Yeah.
and of course next to the boat.
I had a hard time remembering the name of that park. It's the main
park.
one.
I was trying to remember. I was like, I can never quite remember. Like, is it actually in Main Park or is it in Minor Park, which is really nearby and is like nicer, but is a smaller area?
Confusing.
Yeah.
I hate when cities do that.
Again, they are like on paper. It's like, well, this is Main Park and this is Minor Park. It's not like a major minor situation, but it is confusing. And I was just like, wait, which one is that? But no, this is in Main Park.
Okay, because I don't want to show up at the wrong book burning.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Imagine.
No, and you don't want to go to Minor Park during book burning night because it gets. It gets dicey.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just gonna. You're not supposed to talk about Fight Club. There's a Fight Club. They got a Fight Club there.
Not a joke. I appreciate.
No, I'm really sorry. Okay.
No, not a joke. I appreciate.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dirk.
Yes.
Last year, I don't want to bring this up again, but last year we did witness you fighting a man who was throwing a book into the fire that you felt was the wrong book to burn. You were like, that's a great book, get that out the fire.
Yes. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah. Do you think you're still going to be that tense about it?
Look, Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman was a beautiful piece of literature. It was also his first solo novel and should be regarded as is essentially a Bible for me, you know.
Yeah.
It takes place underground. It's also whimsical. It's really an encouraging story. You know, it all just perspective, reality, your place of belonging, your view of yourself.
So
where is your heart? Where is your heart?
Your first association with the Bible is that it takes place underground?
That was a bit unrelated.
Okay.
But the Bible kind of, you could argue that the Bible takes place underground.
Can you? Will you?
I would say maybe in a less literal sense.
Yeah, because essentially, like an element of it was they were trying to not get caught in religion.
And of course,
so
we are
were
talking
all, like, quite underground.
We are talking about the pirate Bible when we were talking about the Bible, which was the series of codes and mores by which the pirates governed the seven seas.
Indeed. Yeah.
And obviously the old gods all very much tie into that, the religion of the pirates.
Absolutely.
There were, to be fair, very difficult to get to grips with all of the old gods. There were so many. And obviously I say old gods, but there are still many on the island who still follow the religion to this day.
It's interesting you bring that up because another one of Neil Gaiman's classic American Gods kind of speaks to the same themes of who you follow and gods that come and gods that go. If I see anyone putting that book in the pit, I'll fight them as well. And I'm bringing Mr. Wilson and the boys to the fire pit, and if anyone
why are you bringing your volleyball into this?
You know, we talked about Mr. Wilson and the boys. My right hand, Mr. Wilson, and my left hand, these 5 fingers, the boys over here.
Yeah.
My right fist is Mr. Wilson.
So sorry, I forgot.
My left hand. Those are the boys.
I thought you were talking about that volleyball. I know.
Now, if I play volleyball, I can use my right fist to spike that Wilson. I can spike Wilson with Mr. Wilson.
Wilson.
And I
Makes a
can
lot of sense.
set Wilson with the boys.
Yep.
Indeed. Yeah.
That tracks.
Kind of. I don't think
I follow that.
Yeah.
I'm sure listeners at home on their commute right now follow that as well. And this makes sense.
If anyone has a very in-depth knowledge of volleyball, they may have some points to pick about that. But
no.
Yeah.
If they want to take it up with me, then I can introduce them to Mr. Wilson and the boys and see how they handle it after that.
And for listeners out there, remember that there is a full list of Dirk Wiley's Do Not Burn These books. These books are pretty good. On our website.
D&Bs, Dirk's D&Bs, do not burn.
Do not burn these books. Some personalities have a reading list, like a book club where they recommend books to read. But Dirk goes down the do not burn these. These are good.
It's basically a reading list. It's just titled much more confrontationally.
Yes.
It's a much more aggressive tone.
Every new book that comes out wants to get that sticker on their cover, the D&B.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's got that sticker. It's a golden sticker, and it's got Mr. Wilson and the boys right on there, right on that sticker, right on the cover. Well, we got to throw it to commercial. I'm getting notice from Matthias. I got to take a break. So, Good Morning Driftwood is brought to you in part by Spice Racks. Do you know where your spices are? Get a spice rack, and there you are. They're looking so nice up there. Do you not cook but want to look like you cook? Get a spice rack and impress your crush. From Good Morning Driftwood, we'll see you soon. Good Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.